May the peace, blessings, and mercy of God be upon you. Surely, you have ever seen a scene in a movie, series, or documentary about Eskimos in furs and heavy clothing, standing in front of a hut built entirely of snow. One of the questions on most people's minds when they see this scene is, how could someone live inside a house made of snow? The weather in the polar regions is cold and the snow is also cold. Is it reasonable to build a house of snow so that we can warm up inside it? The topic in the first is not entirely logical. But let me tell you, it is very logical and natural, and these homes are not as animated as some might imagine. Ice houses or igloos are really standing homes. It was built by the inhabitants of the polar regions to this day. Welcome. I am Mohammed Saleh, and this episode of Science Answers. Question: how does an igloo stay warm inside? It was originally made of snow. And before we start, if you're still new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell. So get our videos first. The Arctic is one of the coldest environments on Earth, starting from the coasts of North America to northeastern Siberia. But despite that, and despite the extreme cold in the place and the harsh climatic conditions, the Mujahideen were able to live and persevere in this place for thousands of years. This people is the Eskimo people. The Eskimos that inhabit the Arctic regions are fully compatible with the lifestyle there. And they don't like to leave the place where they live at all. This is despite the city's lack of amenities or even a significant sign of urbanization. All that exists for the Eskimo people is snow and an extremely harsh lifestyle. And at first, let's say something marginal like this: the Eskimos do not like this word. I mean, if you call them Eskimos, they're going to get really mad at you and upset. Because the word Eskimo is derived from a term used to refer to strangers who speak a different language. In addition, it is also used for people who eat raw meat. They preferred to be called Inuit rather than Eskimos, because they mean in their language from the word Inuit, which means people. So I leave it between us and each other to wrap it up, no more. The Inuit or Eskimo people live in areas where the temperature reaches -50 degrees Celsius in winter. Anyone who lives in such a climate must seek refuge and a safe dwelling to live in, whether this house is built of brick, metal, or even wood. But, unfortunately, the Arctic does not provide any of the needs at all. Even the trees and forests in the place are almost non-existent. That is why the people of this place have learned to build their homes with the only thing available to them, which is snow. The Eskimos, thousands of years ago, resorted to building dome-like ice huts. And these houses are in their name, which is the Inuit, and the question remains here: how do these icy houses warm them up? The truth is, physically, snow can warm you up quite well and stimulate your body temperature as well. In order to understand this strange dilemma, let me tell you a story about an animal called a sea otter, or sea fox. It is an animal that feeds on fish and sea creatures. This is why he has to live in cold water. But at the same time, there is no thick skin on his body, no thick fatty tissue that would protect him from the cold. What does he do to warm up? He's using something very strange. They are air molecules. The fur of the hat is very dense and soft when heated due to the texture of the inner fur. An otter's fur is so pointy that it can trap air particles in it. At the same time, air is an excellent heat insulator. This is why the heat inside the otter's body does not easily escape. This is because the air trapped on his body from the outside prevents this heat from escaping from his body. And because of this topic, it is exposed to very low temperatures and does not catch a cold. Praise God. Well, now I don't understand. What do you want to say? What does this obedience have to do with this topic? Simply put, what we want to say is that air is a good heat insulator. This is the horseshoe. If we find a kind of snow with a suitable proportion of air, it will be something suitable for the construction process. And here we are, coming to the Eskimo playground. This snow is their game and they have a lot of experience with its type and qualities. I mean, if I asked you and told you, do you know how many types of snow? You will answer me. What will you say to me, uncle? What do you say? What is it but the ice only to change? I will tell you, my dear, what is the ice but a kind of snow? So, you'll ask me, what are the types of snow? I'll tell you. Oh, there are types. The Eskimos have in their language a large number of different words and terms that express snow. they can describe it in dozens of different terms that have been eloquently coined to describe its kind and present condition. This is simply because the most common thing around them, the most understandable thing, is a kind of snow they call hard, dusty snow. And that snow, sir, is about 10% frozen water and 90% air. It will be in the form of layers on the surface of the earth in rocky areas. This kind of snow is very suitable for the construction process. Firstly, because it is solid and able to carry it, and secondly, because it contains a large percentage of air. And since air is an excellent insulator, as we said a while ago, this type of snow is suitable for insulating the building from the inside. This is why an igloo or glow keeps the temperature inside, not letting it escape through the walls. Just like a thermal flask, exactly. What is required in the process of heating in our body is that the heat, radiated by our bodies or the heat around us at home, does not escape outside. It should be noted that the bottom of the igloo is not a flat surface. However, the space will be excavated from the inside and consist of several levels. The entrance to the house is very low, so it remains on another level, a little higher, where a fire is made or tasks such as cooking and others are carried out. Finally, the last level, and this will be the uppermost place where they sleep. Indeed, this progressive discipline does not come out of nowhere, but it is intended and has an important role as well. Hot air naturally rises to the top because it is light, and cold air naturally descends and settles to the bottom. Therefore, any heat present in the place, whether it is caused by a fire burning inside or even the heat that radiates from the bodies of all passengers without exception, rises and hovers around the people in the upper area. At the same time, the walls of the hut are heat insulating, so these things combined make the atmosphere warm inside the hut. And the temperature inside reaches 10 or even 15 degrees Celsius. If you feel the temperature is still too cold, let me tell you, the weather outside right now is 50 degrees below zero. I mean, we are highly qualified and experienced individuals who can build a small cabin on their own in only about 3 hours. As for the large huts that accommodate several people, as a whole family, it may take 2 or more days to build their own huts. The strange thing is that with the progress of the island that occurred in the methods of construction, and even with modern architecture, he discovered a better way to build igloo than the method used by the members of the Eskimo, and indeed, the spiral method and dome-shaped exterior structure is a very stable construction with no edges or wasted spaces. And whoever has experience in the engineering field will know that the building in this way distributes all the vertical loads that fall on it and transforms it into a horizontal force that is emptied into the ground, so that the building is stable and resistant to strong winds and storms. Thus, today we have answered the question of how the snow hut stays warm inside when it was originally made of snow. And if you are the first time to enter the channel, this channel will answer all the questions that may come to your mind while you are lying in bed at night or during the day and you cannot sleep. As usual, if a question comes to your mind and confuses you, write it to us in the comments below the video so that we can answer it. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share. Who see us for the first time, subscribe and activate the bell so that our videos reach you first. See you next episode.